Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 470, Xbox Fire Hazard, recorded live on April 2nd, 2015. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Duststorm.
I'm your other host, Biowolf.
And we are back with another episode of Podtacular, this time number 470. And we're going to be talking about whatever. And we're going to be talking about it with Haas and Godzilla Todd.
Hello.
Hello. And we're video tonight, so if you're watching on the live stream, hello everybody. If you're not watching us, then go watch the VOD while it's still up before it expires. Yeah. Well, I don't.
That's convincing.
I don't archive them.
Recording.
Well, no, it's stored up there for 7 days. It's temporary recording, so yeah. If you hear this as soon as this is posted and you want to see the video version, feel free to go to Twitch, find it, see our shenanigans and all that stuff. But
Do it.
But tonight is kind of whatever night. There's not much going on other than what we've talked about over the last few days. We've had massive amounts of podcasts come out, so we're kind of taking a slower route today. We're going to be taking questions from the chat, topic suggestions from the chat. We'll just talk about whatever we want to talk about, and we'll pretty much go from there. But first thing I want to do, and to get the serious stuff out of the way, is there's some new Hunt the Truth stuff out there. So we're going to be looking at an image, the Halo 2 promo image, actually. That came out earlier today. Master Propaganda is the title. And remember the dual-wielding SMG Master Chief? Well, apparently that image was heavily photoshopped, or whatever the Photoshop equivalent is in 2552. So the original image actually has notes on it from Oni of things to remove. So there were lots more Banshees in the background. There was explosions. There was a Covenant carrier. There is a sign that reads AC on the top of a skyscraper, cropping out a dead Marine, and polishing up some of the Master Chief armor and visuals there. So, what do you guys think about this whole thing of 343 going back and changing a lot of the key concept or art pieces for the established Halo? Like, why do you think they're going back and just reusing same assets but then modifying them instead of kind of using stuff that we haven't really seen before? Is it just because it's familiar, you think?
I don't know. What I think it is that we see Chief as who he is. We see him as these iconic images that we've seen before from different things. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to show exactly, like, I think it's interesting that they're trying to show exactly what was going on at that time, because like we said before, we're going after that we're seeing another side of Chief we haven't seen before. And to show that, that action sequence when he had those dual SMGs and he jumps down or whatever, that was all him. There's a story behind that, and I like the fact that there is a story behind that intense moment.
I think they're doing it to try to make us doubt what we think we know about Master Chief. In other words,
at its finest.
Exactly. They're showing they've got the original shot. Okay, well, this is what we want you to change, and this is the shot we're going to publish, which is, really similar to the original art piece, just kind of focused in. So, it's exactly, the way you put it, the 26th century's version of Photoshop. So, I think it's just trying to show how much Oni went in to promote the Spartans, especially Master Chief.
It's interesting to see that they're going back and they're photoshopping in elements that they supposedly photoshopped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
interesting. I have to give it at that. I mean, the one thing that popped out for me, the first thing that actually popped out for me was the dead Marine laying right next to Chief. Like, that's the first thing that I noticed is right then and there, and it's like Chief not helping a Marine that could be saved. He's just standing there looking, just doing the stupid pose that he's supposed to be doing. Like, it just doesn't add up. Like what Godzilla was saying, I think they were just making second guess Chief, which is all right. I mean, I guess that's what they're really trying to do, and I mean, and it's Oni too. Like, so I'm sure they're going to sit there and completely corrupt everything that they're saying. Those supposed Photoshop things that were out of there could have been a second photo that they could have sit there and did themselves. That looked legit. You know what I mean? They could have been something completely different.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think they're just trying to put the doubt in your mind. I mean, as far as Chief not helping the Marine, he probably just got there and is inspecting this, looking around the area, taking the lay of the land. That's what I've always kind of got from that shot. Not that it's look at me, I'm Master Chief. It always seemed to me like he's assessing the situation in that photo. So, and who knows, the Marine may be beyond help already, but, we don't know because there's nothing about the photo. But I think that's the deal with it. They're showing that Oni has heavily censored what was shown about Master Chief, about what he's done. And I think it's like a propaganda deal to try to make us doubt what we think we know about Master Chief.
But does this really add something to Master Chief, though? Because this just, all the crop outs that they did makes it more seem like Oni was covering up how bad the situation actually was when the Covenant attacked Earth. It didn't really seem to reflect anything about Chief.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of it, but how they focused in and they sharpened up Master Chief, they brought him into sharper focus. They brightened up his armor. They really did all the photo touch up to him. And yes, they did eliminate some stuff in the background. So, I think originally it would have served two purposes. One, to hide the fact of how bad the Covenants get beaten our butts. But I think it's also a propaganda shop for Master Chief or the Spartan 2 project, or both.
Yeah,
I mean, this shot's taken in New Mombasa. The planet Earth kind of knows how bad it is when the Covenant shows up on your doorstep.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at it like this too. I mean, we had the Halo 1 photo with Chief, with the Marines and all that stuff too. I mean, at least that showed Marines in there. You got to keep that in mind. At least he was showing that while Chief was fighting alongside the Marines. Maybe this is just not necessarily saying Chief is fighting with the Marines, but he's just doing one thing to help promote himself. Maybe that's something that we could be looking at too. Not necessarily saying that he doesn't care, but not necessarily thinking that saving the Marines is priority.
Well,
I just don't see the Chief standing there for a promotional shot.
It's not necessarily saying it's a promotional shot. It's someone that took a picture. Maybe that was a webcam. You know what I mean? Maybe it was just a webcam of him for some... We don't know exactly where the picture came from exactly, did we?
No, I mean, it could be from a street cam,
Well, no. Benjamin Giroux took the picture.
Oh, did he?
Giroux, yeah. I mean, it says that in the Hunt the Truth entry for it. So he took the picture, but as far as implying anything against Chief, it just doesn't really seem to indicate that. I mean, taking the Marine out and showing that, there's a dead Marine there, I don't think that's really a knock against Chief. That's just, I think it's more emphasizing just the Spartans are here to defend Earth and taking out anything that would really discourage people from that picture. So it's more, I think, of a propaganda against showing how bad the Covenant invasion was, and also bumping up how much the Master Chief was going to be the protector of Earth, kind of thing.
I can see it. I mean, I can kind of see two different things with this, though. I can honestly say that this picture was honestly meant to say that the icon that you're seeing is not who he is. I honestly see that. I see that's what this picture was aiming for.
Well, it was to overemphasize
what Chief...
Right, who Chief is.
Yeah.
How big of a savior he is for this, and de-emphasize how bad the situation was.
Yeah.
But I from just a promotional standpoint, though, with what 343 is doing, I'm not sure how comfortable I am with them just taking assets. Because, I mean, we know this asset was made exactly the way it was made for Halo 2. And now 343 is just going back and saying, well, this is the way it was technically, but we know it wasn't created like that originally. So I don't particularly agree with their style of going back and reusing assets. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. It's just, it seems very peculiar why they're doing it that way.
Well, I look at it, I can see it this way. If they are taking scenes out from stills that we've already seen and they're adding different things in there to look at, like, this is exactly what was going on, like, maybe the next thing they'll be doing is the Halo 3 cover art, where Chief is, like, just holding the AR or whatever, and for some stupid reason he has a blown-up UNSC ship on the side, and just different things, like, because we're seeing, like you said, these iconic Chief moments, but I don't, if they start showing images of, like, scenes you already relived in-game, I don't think anybody's really going to buy any of that. Like, it's just not possible. You lived it once. You were there when you were seeing it through the game, through Chief's eyes. You're not going to sit there and say, oh, well, that could be. People can sit there and go on Forge Mode and look around. You know what I mean? They can't really necessarily say, oh, well, this is it. They're going to have to take iconic moments that you've seen in a picture somewhere, and that's what they're going to try to corrupt, if you will.
I'm almost worried they're walking too fine of a line with this campaign. Like, I get it, and I like it as a more invested Halo fan, as a casual fan. But if I'm a person that, I buy the game when it comes out, I beat it, I play it for a week or two, and then it kind of is one of my buddies are on it, let me hop on to it games. If I'm seeing this campaign, I'm like, what in the world is going on? Do I even want to mess with this? Because this entire time, Master Chief, like, I can see where it would entice me to play, but also could see where it's deterring me away from wanting to continue playing it, because you're changing an aspect that I've always loved, and that's being the hero, regardless of how you're going about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the propaganda standpoint. I get why their integration in the Hunt the Truth campaign. I get it, but just extracting the fact that this is an ARG and just looking at it from a technical, this is the studio doing the Halo 5 promotional stuff. It's very peculiar why they're going back using an asset from Halo 2 that we know this is the way it was originally made as the promotional piece. And then they're going back in and adding stuff saying that they removed it to make that promotional piece. It just seems a little weird to me. But that's just me. That's
When
just
you
a personal
actually-
thing.
different.
Yeah,
PG,
it's just
Penn's just linked the actual Hunt the Truth site here.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they
looking
call
at
it
it right now.
master propaganda, and that is
well, yeah.
quite the different take. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess when this whole Hunt the Truth thing started, I thought this guy was more under the impression, and his whole purpose was to make Chief the hero still, even though he had questions. But when I read this, it's perfectly polished propaganda is a sentence that, like, really stands out to me. And then you look and, there's a dead contractor, civilian contractor, and, cropped out, reduced banshees,
So that's what we got in the pre-log episode of Hunt the Truth, where he was talking about how one of the things that he was looking to do for the story was going to be the classics hero's tale. But the more and more he started digging, the more and more he found out that wasn't the case. So this is just some of that stuff that he found out about, and now he's giving the evidence to support something that at first he didn't want to believe, but now as a journalist he has to make those questions.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at all the different things right now. Tighter focus, crop out, just Photoshop stuff. The only thing that's honestly staying, apart from the dead contractor, Marine, or whatever it is the AC logo on the building. Why is that essential to cut out? Why is that? It just doesn't make sense to me.
They didn't want anybody else advertising in their photos. If you, who knows? what gets me about these photos, and the reason this kind of strikes a chord, is if you go back to the video they did just before they announced Master Chief Collection, the Halo, where they re-edited the Halo 2, the bomb plant sequence.
Yeah, where he was in
where
that
they have
terminal,
Locke,
where he was watching all the way through it. Yeah,
where the Arbiter says, the official story, and hence, but that's not the whole truth. Is basically what he's saying. I can't remember the exact line, but this could be part of that. Of that. That motion of things that they're going through. Okay, we all know what the official story is because that's what they've been feeding us ever since the game came out. Well, now they're bringing in, through this character, they're bringing in the stuff that we don't necessarily know about. And I do agree with you, Dust. I don't like them retouching the old assets, but I can see which way they're going with it and what I think they're trying to do with it. And I think they're just trying to make us rethink what we think we know about Master Chief. I mean, some of the facts they can't change. Bio says, the in-game stuff, the stuff that we actually played through, you can't change that. That stuff's fixed, pretty much set in stone. But all the stuff that surrounds the games, there's always a different way to look at, a different point of view to look at, any piece of information from.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're doing is they're manipulating the information to make us, and probably to make us more receptive to Locke and maybe paint him more as the good guy and Chief more, I don't want to say bad guy, but the guy that's doing the unpopular thing. Let's do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, I really want to know how this ends.
Yeah, I mean, the thing,
we've got 13 more weeks.
I know. And I got a lot of videos put out. But anyway, what were you saying, Bio?
I was just saying, it's like they're going to sit there and make Locke look like the good guy. They have to. They have to make him look like the best character as possible. And the fact that I'm seeing Locke more as a fake than anything else. I mean, when we've seen these two live action trailers, we've seen the Halo 2 cutscenes. They've all come to the same conclusion. Arbiter isn't trusting Locke. Going back to the BRDMR thing, that could be a fake, just showing a different thing of that could be a fake trailer. You have all these things that the UNSC is trying to sit there and show Chief is like these cutouts or whatever. If anything, it's more looking like to me that they're sitting there try their hardest to make Locke look like the good guy, but they're failing at it because they're leaving these flaws, these different things that you can't change. Like you can't change the mind of someone that's been working with, like you can't change the mind of Arbiter that's worked against the Flood, the Prophets. He's been through a war with the Chief. You can't change his mind by showing some sort of little evidence stating that the Chief has gone bad. You just can't. There's more of a reason for that, and you're gonna have to sit there and give more information. Yeah, sure, we got this war journalist sitting there saying all these different things because Oni is giving him just files that are access to files that no one else can take. There's nothing stating that these files are truth. There's no evidence saying that these are confirmed deals necessarily. These could be all just planted things for this war journalist to find.
I don't know. It's just the way that they're doing it. I don't know. I particularly just would have them do it in a different way. And that's just my own personal thing, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're trying to do it in a unique way, so a way that we wouldn't see before, which I kind of like them doing it this way for that reason. We have so many things that we haven't seen before. I mean, yeah, people are talking about I Love Bees and all this thing. This is completely different. We're not going against a war hero that we've seen and known and loved for so long. You're trying to turn our opinions against them. You're trying to sit there and make our decisions to go against Chief. That's the notion I'm getting. And I think that's the reason why Locke is going to be such a huge character and there's going to be such a huge controversy, because you are trying to sit there and show, I'm the good guy here. Chief is the guy that's making all this happen. When they showed the devastation, the city completely destroyed, you're showing, these things on with this photo showing that there's more covenants and all that stuff, and just different things. I mean, you're like I said before, you're making it look like Chief is the bad guy. We know Chief's not the bad guy. We've seen the stuff that he's done. Know and played as him. You're not going to sit there and try to persuade us differently.
Well, like I said, I think it's not necessarily persuade, but just to put that doubt in your mind. And I'm not going to say it's going to work. But there is so much stuff. We know what he did in the campaigns, and we know what he did in the books. What did he do between there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, it's like, show us those details in between there. Don't show us something that we've already witnessed. We have the Halo 2 picture. We were in that Halo 2 picture, like, at some point in time. Give us something that we've already seen. They're showing us stuff that we've seen before. He blew up the shit with the bomb in Halo 2. We have the picture in Halo 2, and it's just weird that they're going back to Halo 2 stuff. They're not doing anything with Halo 3. They're not doing anything with Halo 4. Like they're all it seems like they're concentrating on Halo 2.
So Laird actually said something in the chat about that. He said that they're trying to tie it back potentially to Halo 2 Anniversary because we've seen the lock prologue and epilogue for the cutscenes.
Yeah.
So right. So they're trying to tie it back to the marketing perspective.
I think as the campaign goes along, the marketing campaign goes along, we're going to start seeing newer stuff. It's like, the campaign's got to start somewhere, and the easiest way to, tie it into the Halo 2A is to start there. So I think we'll probably see, some newer stuff come in, and maybe some stuff that we haven't seen before, some really all new stuff, kind of like behind the scenes look at, what Master Chief does on his day off. That's it. Sure, right.
He's not drinking coffee?
30 weight.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, the question still gets brought up, why Halo 2, though? I mean, there was more heroic things Chief did in 3, and there was more things he did in 1 than there was 2, in my personal opinion. I mean, he basically destroyed the ring in Halo 1, thinking he defeated a flood. That was a huge threat in Halo. You wipe out a species that can destroy countless species.
Well, he didn't wipe them out. Yes, he did destroy the Halo ring, but he did not kill the flood.
Right. I know that. I'm saying
he just contained it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But at the time, he was thinking he could preserve that at that particular time. Like I'm saying is, we don't really see any sort of major deal with Halo 2. It's just making me wonder why they're going after Halo 2, where there's so much more story in 1, 3, and 4. In my personal opinion, I feel that's how I feel about Halo 2. I mean, the story in Halo 2 was gripping. We have a lot of different things in there that was completely unique. But him blowing up the ship and all these different things, that was just acts of quick thinking, and there's different things of that look of things.
Well, I think it's probably precisely why, because there's so much gray area in Halo 2.
Right.
And also that is where the Arbiter became our ally. Well, started
it was towards the end, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's in that game. So that would tie directly into Halo 5 as well. Which obviously Arbiter is going to be a character in the game. It may not be a playable character, but he's going to be part of Halo 5.
Yeah.
With as much tie-in as they've already done. So I can kind of see why they would start at Halo 2, just because, of the two major ideas. I mean, yeah, they could have taken it all the way back to CE, but, that was, early in our lives with Master Chief. And that, that one was pretty, that game was a pretty cut and dry game. I mean, there was, we know where it started. We know we saw where it ended, and it was all in one location. There was no, moving from location to location like in Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Halo 4.
Well, I mean, if that is the case, I would like to see something to do, and because Chief's not really in ODST. We don't see him at all. What happened in that timeline? What was he doing particularly in that particular time? He was
going to Delta Halo.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though. We weren't there. We weren't seeing what was going on. We were seeing a different storyline. You know what I mean? Johnson was there. We seen what Johnson was up to at the very end. But like we were seeing different things in that game, and I felt I don't know. I don't know. Like I felt in Halo 2, Chief was the main character, but I felt it was more of Arbiter's story. It wasn't Chief's. Like I felt that was more of showing what Arbiter is going to be doing with the human race, and then 3 Chief really started picking it up. Like to me, that's what I honestly feel like. I mean, everybody has their own opinions about it, but it's Chief did some stuff in Halo 2 that was memorable, but it like you have so much going on. I mean, you have the two sides. You have the dude that blew up the ring, and then you had the guy that was trying to prevent the ring from blowing up. You see, he was basically crucified in front of thousands and the Covenant. You have him marked as an arbiter. You know, he does all these different things, and you see him try to win back the stuff with win back his honor with the prophets. Then the prophets give all the elites jobs to the brutes, and it's like all these different things are happening with the arbiter. I felt that was more of the arbiter story. I mean, I don't know. It's different. I think they could be doing something a little bit differently with just. I think the backstory is what they should be concentrating on, not something we've already lived.
Well, backstory is what we've already lived in this case.
But you can't look at the backstory too much, because if we're looking this at from the perspective of this is to show what happened to majority of people that have maybe just read or just have played the games, or maybe just mostly have played the games, then you're going to want to include stuff that is easily tied to what people know about.
Mm-hmm.
Which in this case, you would use a lot of the stuff that we would have already seen. So
it's different. I mean, we got how many? We got so many weeks left. You know, we got a couple weeks left. I mean, we have so many months until the game comes out. It's like there's a lot of gaps that could be filled in that time. Not necessarily huge ones that the campaign will fill in its own time, but I think it's something that this wardrobe. I mean, like I said before, he only had 5 weeks to fill in to convince us that the Chief is someone that he's not.
Right.
That's not enough time. And the way he's going with it, it seems like, and I'm going back to my statement I've said earlier in the earlier podcast. Oni's going to sit there and say he has access to everything. That everything, they could have slipped so much in there and hide the actual truth. They could sit there and manipulate this story any way that they want to and make a well-known and well-respected journalist make his statement about Chief and completely blow people's minds about it because he is the news side. He's the guy that everybody looks to for the latest because he's always been truthful. I mean, there's some... Oni is going to sit there and turn this completely around as much as they can.
Well, yeah, they're going to feed all kinds of misinformation out there. And I think that's probably part of what this type, this is what this photo is. It's misinformation. Okay, we see the final product of the final product of the photo, and then we look at what supposedly they start with, which we know from, because we're longtime Halo fans, that wasn't the original shot, but they're just making it look like that, Oni's been dressing up the Master Chief to make him look this good. So, like I said, it's they're not trying to discredit the Chief outright in the next 5 weeks. They're just trying to plant the seed. So when you start the game, you question how the game goes until you get to the end of it. And then you're like, oh, well, okay. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be, until you get through that campaign the first time, there's going to be even to the devoted Halo fan that's played all the games, that thinks they know Master Chief is best, just like they were Master Chief, they're like, okay, well, we have this information that says that Chief wasn't all what we thought he was, and then they play into the game, and, they really make Chief look like he's doing something that we don't want. And then at the end, maybe it turns out that it's something that we really do need, something that actually does save the galaxy. Yeah. We don't know. So, I think that's where they're going with this particular campaign, this marketing campaign. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, no, I mean, it does make sense, but I don't know. It's different. It's unique,
Mhm.
and I think they need to sit there and put a little bit more into it to kind of capture people,
Well,
and if they're trying to
we're
make it
right at the
work.
very beginning of the
Well,
campaign as
right,
well, so
right. I
we
mean,
don't have any idea what they've got planned.
no, and I mean, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're gonna, like you said, they're in the beginning of it, but I think they need to make it a little bit more interesting in this particular time. Like when it gets more into it, like I would say around like the fourth or fifth week is when they start showing things that's really starting to question the reality of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, we talked about that for a lot, so we'll move on to some other things. As far as open topics, stuff in the chat, if you guys want us to talk about anything, feel free. We're just kind of shoot around for a little bit. I am going to read a few submissions that we have that we've had
Oh,
for a
snap.
while. Oh yeah. So this first one comes from FC Pictures. When was the last time we did a submissions show? I don't remember at all.
I don't know.
Me either.
It was before I joined.
No, there've been a
So,
couple with you on.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Been
I
a
mean,
couple.
we got a. There was a couple of emails that we got.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
So this first one says, I was wondering what your favorite official soundtracks were, or even specific track from the Halo series might be. And if you're looking forward to Kazuma Janushi's soundtrack for Halo 5. ODST.
I have to go with
Yeah.
the original, the CE.
Okay. If I had to choose a specific track, it would be Never Forget. That gives me chills every single time I listen
That
to
is a
it.
good one.
That, I think, is one of Marty's best pieces ever.
I think. What was the question again? Say it again. It was.
What is your favorite official soundtrack, or if you have one, your favorite track from Halo?
I would have to say my favorite track from Halo's and Pen from Halo 2. I really feel that, especially when they redid it in Halo. Yeah, that drum, that deep. I mean, we hear that in two parts in the Halo 2 campaign. We hear him in Cairo Station, and we also hear it in Regret, if I remember correctly. The very beginning of Regret, where you go into
On the
the
gondola.
temple, on the
right?
gondola, and all that stuff. I mean, we hear that 2 times, and it's like I've listened to it over and over and over again. And the reason why I think I like it a lot is because I hear different things I don't hear before. I think that's what I like about Marty's music all the time, is because you hear certain things, especially with different headphones. Like if you can have, me and my friend went into a sound studio at his college, and we threw on some 7.1 surround sound headsets, and like we were just hearing just totally different things every time. Like we put our iPod to headphones, and it just sounds completely different, and it's just different things that pop up every time. And I think that's why I miss Marty's music a lot. Not to discredit Neil Davidge and everything he did with Halo 4, but Marty's music was just absolutely unique. Like he did so much. He had the Gregorian chant that everybody knows that links to Halo. You know.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think
No,
the
it's-
soundtracks for me, it's all on my mood. If I'm kind of trying to relax, hands down, it's ODST.
Yeah.
But if like I'm looking for something to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit, it's the Halo 2 or the Halo 2 anniversary soundtrack. I've been listening to the anniversary soundtrack a lot recently. And I don't know, I really enjoy it. There's always a special place for the CE soundtrack, but I think Halo 2, the original Halo 2 soundtrack, just was awesome. And I think Impend is my favorite. Just something about that track. It's kind of relaxed, but it also it takes me to my favorite Halo mission. So in Halo 2,
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it take you to your happy place?
it's a special happy place.
It's in his corner when he's crying about life. That's all it is.
Ouch! Wow, Bio.
Haas's happy places in Photoshop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Photo Studio on my Samsung Galaxy Note 4.
If for all those who are watching live, yeah, just check out Haas's Twitter page, and you'll see the latest damage that he's done. The thing for me with the remakes for the soundtracks is there was a certain feel that I think the original soundtracks went for, and the Halo 2 remastered soundtrack did a lot better job than the Halo CE remastered soundtrack, just because the moods felt completely different for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that you just get with Marty is he nails that audio profile that isn't quite like the movie soundtrack, but it still gives you that suspense in the moment stuff.
Mhm.
And that's a strong side that he has managed to put a staple on. Whenever you hear that kind of music, it's like there's not really many other composers that have done what Marty has done.
I never had a mood in Halo 4 due to the music.
117
Neither did I.
and
Like
117
in the game, I like listening to the soundtrack. Yeah, I can get a little bit of a mood because it's isolated and
Yeah.
like I can hear the song. But when I'm playing Halo 4, I kind of felt like I was playing like an action movie.
Yep.
Where the music but it was like an action movie without the music to pump me up for that sequence.
Yeah, I mean, the only mood that I really got out of any of the music was really at the end. Like, it was the very end when you had that moment where Chief and Cortana were alone and you had that particular just little sound bit that was going on, and that was it. I mean, the outro of the game too, where the Didact speech and you have 117 playing in the background, that was something else that kind of had some sort of mood to it. But like compared to Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo 1, all these different things, you just don't have it. I mean, ODST, where you had that guitar deal just going on when you're playing the I can't even remember what mission it was called now, when you're taking out the Banshees and all that stuff with the missile pod.
Oh, the Alpha Site one, right?
Yeah, I think so. If I remember, I can't remember. But anyway, like you just have these key, and I think that's the reason why Marty was so different too, is because he came with these on the spot. He was talking like when we were watching the Halo 2 documentary. He said the monk chant he did within a drive to someone's house. I forgot exactly who it was, and he goes,
I did it in about 30 minutes. He came up with the basic idea of it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you take these other composers that need time. He did everything right then and there. Like when you first seen Halo CE presented, you know, they didn't give him anything. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what we need. Boom. Go for it. And he came up with it, and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. The way they represented it, I mean, exactly. It was futuristic. It was like godly. It was different. It was completely unique, and that was a game changer for the gaming franchise in itself, I think.
No, and I think there's been a few interviews where they've basically gone and said that the music style for a lot of video games really changed with how Halo did it. I mean, if you look at Halo changed a lot for the gaming industry in terms of the music, in terms of first-person shooters. To be honest, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think this podcast is still here almost 10 years later, is because of the impact that Halo has had on the gaming industry.
Yeah.
There's no other game that has a podcast that's been running for more than 4 years?
Yeah.
Well, except TF2. I know TF2. The Chriscast is going on for a while, so I know they've had theirs up. But if you look at other gaming specific podcasts, there's not many out there that have really lasted that long.
No, and I mean, Halo has such a wide deal with everything. You have podcasts, you have comics, you have art, you have cosplayers like the 405th, you have Mega Blocks, you have just gear in general. There's so much of it. There's so much in this franchise. There's so much in Halo just in general that just completely blows any other franchise out of the water. Like, you're not going to see people that are going to run in Call of Duty cosplay and know exactly who that is. Like, you just don't. Like, you sit there and you run around and you have that suit of armor. You know that's either Chief or someone that's relevant to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, they just had a 12-foot hunter cosplay made. I mean, you don't see that. That's raising the bar 900 times anything's ever done.
Which that hunter cosplay, oh my gosh. Let's talk about that since we got on that topic. Emerald City Comic Con was this last week.
Yeah.
And you guys saw the picture I posted of the hunter costume at PAX East, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those listening, this blows that completely out of the water. You can Google search it. There's a couple of videos up on YouTube from some 405th members of the full-sized hunter, and this thing is legit.
It's also on the Halo channel.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Just
watching that just before just before we started the podcast. It's
To
absolutely
post
amazing.
it. I haven't done it yet, though.
Yeah, it's an amazing costume. It looks really good. For building a costume for a 5 foot something tall woman to become a 12 foot or 9 foot, 12 foot tall hunter, it is a feat.
Oh, yeah.
It's something I've thought about doing. Unfortunately, I just flat don't have the space or the time to do it. And, I stand 6'1", and I'm like, how am I going to make myself 12 feet tall?
And be able to move and look around as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, the proportions even look right. I mean, the legs aren't overly long. The torso isn't overly long. And it works.
Yeah.
It's truly, it really is a neat costume. I kind of hope she shows up at RTX.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely. I mean, but another thing that
PAX
I really
Prime.
want to give, another thing I really want to say before we do forget it is that we had a 7-foot elite costume a while back at I'm trying to remember. I think it was at Comic-Con. We seen it. It was about 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I'll find a link and I'll throw it up.
Last year they had the Didact, and he's 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, was he to scale though?
Yeah.
I seen a picture of him. I didn't actually see like scale wise how big he was.
It wasn't quite there, but it was pretty big.
Yeah, from what I understand, it was really close. It may not have been exact scale, but
Right.
I'm not saying it's impossible to do.
Well, the interesting thing and the really cool thing about it was you had all the lights to make his armor glow. That was one of the cool things about the Didact one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and another thing is to preserve something like that on a flight somewhere. There's so much stuff. I mean, when Dust, you were there, when we went to the RTX, the first thing that we stopped to was Griffball, and then right next to it was the 405th booth. Like, they had it wasn't really a booth, it was like a little section that they had, but they had, repairs and all these different things, and, to make things a little bit better, they gave examples how to make your armor better. If it's foam, put a silver lining under it, so if it does bend during flights or something like that, it gives it a natural look of, battle wounds or scars or just damage that you would get within it. So they do, it's just crazy the amount of time and effort people put into this, and look out for other people. If people that need help with something, you can Google it, you can contact them on Twitter, and they'll 90% of the time, they'll get back to you and discuss even more in detail and more easier ways than you thought there even was. I mean, the community out there is just absolutely
Well, that's
awesome.
what I've always liked about all the Halo communities. Well, most of the Halo communities, that we're all here because we love the same thing. We love the Halo universe. And we're more than willing to, argue, points about how to see things. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that we hate each other. It just means we're passionate about Halo. And, that's one of the other things that's always drawn me to the Halo communities. Halo got me into it with just the awesome story. And the community is what's gotten me to actually be, get to the point where I get involved. It's, Dust, when I started listening to the podcast, well, roughly, where I started listening regularly, which really wasn't that many years ago. I unfortunately did not find Podtacular until recently. So, relatively recently.
Well, that's how me and Dust even met, was through a podcast about Halo. I mean, I don't know if you remember that the crazy Halo cast that we had a while back, about 2 or 3 years ago with Duquesne and everybody. That's how I actually got introduced to you.
That would have been a while. There's been so much that's gone on. I don't
No,
particularly
absolutely.
remember.
No. The only reason why I remember is because it was just absolutely crazy. There was like no lid on anything that we said. Like there was a lot of different things that were on there, but
So nothing's really changed.
no, there's a lot that's been changed, but no, I mean like that's it's just interesting because it's like I've met so many people through Halo I never would have thought of. I really don't. Like I really never would have thought I would know so many people today. Like just between friends that I play with all the time, people that were inspired to do something in Halo and became somebody like a developer or something like that. It's just crazy. It really is. It's just absolutely nuts.
Well, there's 10 examples of that right here in this, in the stream of people that I wouldn't have met because of, without Halo.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, it's
just a blast.
And it's not just that; it's like the stories that people can go on for hours upon hours on just because of one individual. Yeah, and like that's just it. It's just crazy. I mean, you have people that had a situation that everybody witnessed. A couple this is perfect example. A couple weeks ago, I played with a person that I haven't seen or heard from in about 3 or 4 years. We shared an experience on Halo 3 that just completely blew our minds. It was when the elephant shot straight up into the air and killed like the entire enemy team, smashed them all, and like there was only 12 people that witnessed it in that game. So like we got back with each other and we were just talking about that particular event. How can we how did that happen? How could it re-happen? It was just different things like that. So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure we all have one of those stories when it comes to Halo. Just the crazy things we've talked about in the past that has happened to us. In game or just in a conversation. The different directions that conversations go when you start getting into Halo. It's fun, and I'm glad that I'm able to share it with all the people in the stream and you three. It's just been awesome.
Yeah, man.
So let's go on to the other submissions that we have, and if you guys saw any questions, just shout them out. But the other one's from, well, it's hard to Google search and keep track of emails and check the chat at the same time. So
I kind of like Penn's question.
Yeah.
Would the angst and issues that have appeared with the franchise be the same if another studio, such as Bethesda, LucasArts, EA, took over the Halo franchise? Or is this built off of hate for 343 and Microsoft?
So, I think yes and no. I think issues, probably not, because I think the mindsets of the way that studios like Bethesda, LucasArts, and EA do things is significantly different than what 343 does. You look at those studios, there's a little bit more, in my opinion, a lot more of a history of people that have been in the industry making games, whereas 343 was a pretty good mix of fans of the game and developers that have come from lots of different backgrounds. So I think there would be potentially fewer issues with Halo games, but then again, it would be a very different Halo game than what we know now.
Well, I mean, issues is it could happen to any game. It can. It
right.
Could be anything. Like, I mean, you could have, like, let's just say for some stupid reason the Elder Scrolls sold their series to someone completely different. They completely switch everything to where it's an online only game. Completely just do different things before, like, you got to give 343 credit in some ways too, because Bungie gave them a game that was in so much change compared to what it was. You had sprint, you had armor abilities, you just had different things that Bungie basically presented right before they sold it, basically.
But sprint was an armor ability in Halo Reach. It wasn't a built-in thing. You didn't have to play Halo Reach with sprint. And I'm not that it was a framework, but I I don't know.
I mean, you got to look at it presented on a plate too. It's like you get a game. How are we going to sit there and make it our unique way of doing things? How are we going to sit there and make it that everybody's going to enjoy? Then you have the dedicated fans, and how are you going to make it that's going to fit next gen titles? Sprint is a controversial topic, and we can go on hours. I'm not going to go into it, but like Sprint is something that just about every other first person shooter has. Do we need it? Not necessarily. Do some people want it? Yes. No. I mean, it's something that they're making. It's something that they're going to put their time and effort to make it perfect for us. So we're going to have to accept it like that. Would Bungie have done it? Well, we don't know. I mean, they put it into armor ability. We have Destiny. They have Sprint in there. It was probably bound to have happened. Just because 343 their label was put on Halo now, it's like, oh, Bungie wouldn't have done that. Bungie would have done this. Or, you can't say it. They're not here. They're not making the game now. So if there's a new face and there's problems with it, of course they're going to get blamed for different things.
Well, any other studio that would have taken over the Halo franchise, who's to say they wouldn't have done the same thing? I mean, because 343 is in part following trends. The different trends that the shooter genre has been going through. And so who's to say that, any LucasArts or Bethesda or any of them wouldn't have done the same thing? And I'm real sure that that we probably wouldn't have got the Master Chief Collection.
I think Microsoft would have forced that.
Not necessarily. I mean,
why? That if they're following trends in the gaming industry, like Godzilla just said, trends in the gaming industry was, let's make HD versions of all our games.
No. I didn't say not an HD version. I said the Master Chief Collection. In other words, all 4 games on one disc.
Yeah, all 4. I could see all 4 games, but
the initial question was, what if another game company owned the rights to Master Chief? Correct, Dust?
Yeah, that was a question.
Is that what?
I don't think the story would be such a mess.
No, it could be worse.
No.
I don't think it would be worth by Bethesda or the former LucasArts.
It's like we don't know. I mean, like I'm repeating myself 100 times, but it's like we really don't know. People are gonna sit there and complain because Reach wasn't the campaign everybody thought it was gonna be either. If they said you want campaign, read the book, read Fall of Reach. That's what people were saying, because the campaign was nothing they wanted to play. They felt that it was dry. There was no sort of effort to sit there and make a compelling story. It was different things. And it's like, do I agree with that? Not necessarily. I enjoyed Reach. What would they have done with Halo 4? We don't know. I mean, would they have even done a Halo 4? We have no idea. That was something that 343 completely made. And it's like,
yeah, that groundwork was so there, though. It was coming one day or the other. The way Halo 3 ended, that left that door wide open for it to come right down the pipe. That
right, but it also did leave it in a place where it could have been left alone and be like, oh well, here's the. I mean, yeah, the universe would actually go on, but it would be a good place to stop.
Yeah, but this is more effective than anything else. If there is $2 signs there, you're gonna go grab those $2 signs.
Like I said, there's a new face, and people are gonna sit there and say what they want to say because it's different, Oh, and Bungie's Bungie. Bungie made the game that we know. They were 343 was handed it down to make it whatever they were gonna make it. Do I necessarily agree that the Halo 4 campaign was great? They could have done different things differently. They could have done things better. It's a controversial topic. Everybody has their own views on it. I mean,
Halo 4 was a good groundwork. I will admit that in a gameplay perspective, but in a storyline perspective, for the fan that just played the games, you like smacked all those people in the face with like the what the hell is going on stick. You really did.
Well, yeah,
and everybody knows that. I mean,
yeah.
If you don't know that, you're in denial.
No, I mean,
I definitely agree with you. If you didn't read the books between the if you didn't read the books that came out before Halo 4, you were lost.
But that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, how many Star Wars books came out between the Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace release, right? This is Lucas, Lucas Studios, LucasArts are all part of the same family. You didn't have to read the 5,000 books that came out in that window. What was it, like 20 years almost?
Somewhere around there.
You didn't have to read all those books to watch Phantom of the Menace and go, I see what's going on here. This makes perfect sense. Oh, look, that kid is probably Darth Vader. This old creepy guy that I would never want to be locked in a room with, he's probably Lord Sidious. Like, you had that you didn't have to do that. In Halo 4, you had to. There is no way I know what's going on. Thank God the first time I was playing the Halo 4 campaign, I had a guy that had just finished Cryptum was the one that had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, yeah, by the way, this is this guy, and this is his purpose. I hadn't read the book yet. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's this is just to raise a question that we can get a little bit differently. Say, for instance, Bungie sold 343, or Bungie got rid of Halo and went on to Destiny. No one picked that up for about 5 to 10 years. 343 picked it up and made it completely different, but still had the same story ties.
Yep.
What would you expect?
A very different game.
Exactly.
It would be a very different game in terms of gameplay, absolutely. Because that 5 years, 3 years is a big time in gaming industry. 5 years is monumental. Not many Grand Theft Auto is one of the few franchises I think comes out every 5 years.
Well, Elder Scrolls has a
yeah.
But it's like you can
but
only
the story would still be there. We would all still know what to expect in story.
Right, but it's like this though. Everything changes. Everything is going to change. I don't care. You can cookie code it and sugarcoat all you want. It's going to change, no matter what anybody says. Just because 343 got their hands on it and it is changing, isn't necessarily what it would have evolved into anyway. Say, for instance, I don't know, Activision got a hold of Halo. Anyway, say, for instance, they got a hold of Halo, and they were making things that were just completely changing the gameplay. They would have sit there and got the same exact attitude 343 is getting right now. It doesn't matter whose name is on the game. If it changes, people don't like it, they're going to complain. If there's a story that changes and people don't like it, people are going to complain. It's as simple as that. There's nothing that anybody can do. It's going to happen. It's just, I agree with you that there needs to be something that was going to between Halo 3 and 4 that could sit there and made things a hell of a lot easier to understand. I agree with you there. But things happen.
My opinion is
simple as that.
You improve the technology in the wheel. You don't reinvent the wheel. That's
right.
That's my opinion. And I feel they added like this one flat side to the wheel, and you kink your head to the side, and you're like, what the?
So I think we all agree that there were issues with Halo 4. That's something that I think the whole community is up in disarray about with Halo. But going back to the actual question of if these other studio and publishers were to take on Halo. So if Halo wasn't owned by Microsoft 343 anymore, and if it was under Bethesda and some developer subsidiary, LucasArts and some developer subsidiary, or EA and some developer subsidiary, it would be a very different game, I think. Even given that they're going to be using the past Halo history, the way that I see because every publisher / developer is going to take things differently. So the issues I think that we would see for Halo, there would be probably a different set of issues. Would there be as much abundance? I don't think so, because they're not being pressured under the Microsoft umbrella as its first-party platform game. Because Bethesda, LucasArts, and EA, they're working on other games. Whereas 343 and Microsoft, their primary game is Halo. That is their cash cow. That is their moneymaker. So I think the issues and the angst would be different. Honestly, I mean, it is going to be obviously different because it would be a different developer, it would be probably a different storyline, but because they're different in terms of how the importance of Halo is to their company, because I mean they are making money from other games that they're developing, I think they'd be a lot more open to taking time to iron out some of the issues and flesh out some of the story for people, to get a grasp of what's going on. I think that would be vastly different and probably not as severe as it has been under the guise of 343. That's just my personal opinion on it.
Well, I mean, it's like this too. It's 343. I've met so many people, and I've talked to so many people that were in 343 that we all agree on. We love the game. You know what I mean? We love the game. And they some of those people came into 343 Studios or Industries because they love the game. They're fans. Bungie created something everybody loved, and fans and previous Bungie employees and everything came in to take it over. And it's like Bungie came into something that they didn't know how it was going to react. They created something completely different and foreign to everybody. You know, no one could have ever guessed 20 years beforehand that there's going to be a game called Halo and it would turn out like what it is today. You can't do that. It's like you I don't know. There's a lot of changing. I mean, I'm excited to what Halo 5 is going to evolve into, like to see what it is. Story-wise, we kind of seen what the multiplayer is going into with the Halo 5 beta, you know, which is my personal opinion on it was fantastic. I wish they don't change the core experience that I got with it, you know, change a couple things to make it a little bit better, but it's like if I get that game out of the box and they improve on it, I'm happy. If they sit there and out of the box and they improve the story and it's enjoyable and it has the gripping attention I'm giving it just by these live action trailers and different things like that, I'm happy. I'm not going to sit there and freak out about it. If they sit there and do the exact same thing they did with Halo 4, and they do the exact same thing that they did with Master Chief Collection, I'm going to be heartbroken. It's as simple as that. If they give me a game that doesn't necessarily work day one,
I've been saying it. 343 has 3 strikes. They've already taken 2.
yeah.
They gotta knock Halo 5 out of the park.
I have 125% confidence in Halo 5's launch, and I don't know how I have that. I don't. If you ask me, Colin, why do you feel that way? I have this many answers, and if you can't see this, it's a 0. But I think Microsoft and 343 collectively, they know exactly what you just said. 3 strikes, we're out. Like, we're going to have to put Halo on the shelf for a while because public opinion is dead.
You put it back in the oven and let it bake.
You let that sucker bake, burn to dust, and then you throw a new loaf in. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's people. Okay, this is what's really going to boil down to. Yes, we have the story nuts out there, and we have the lore nuts and everything else, but the longevity of the game is the multiplayer. We get a decent multiplayer that people are going to enjoy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the majority of the people that played the beta said that they enjoyed it. They felt that it was a hell of a lot better than what they seen in Halo 4. They felt that the competitive side of things were coming back in a way, and they felt that things were improving more than what they've already seen. And it's like, I get the 3 strikes they're out deal. I get that. I can honestly say though, that's a delicate situation because we got Halo 4. That was a completely new game on itself. You know, we have the Master Chief Collection. Yes, it's a game that they produced, but it's a compiled of games that we already got once. We got all that stuff. Halo 5 is officially their second game. That's how I'm looking at it. And okay. Well,
yeah, like Halo you also had Halo Anniversary. Luckily, that was not very. I mean, there was work needed, but not anywhere near the level that Halo 4 or Master Chief Collection needed. And Master Chief Collection, I don't even put in completely on them. They had how many studios' hands in that basket? Way too many.
Too many. Way too many.
Like, way too many. Like, if 343 would have just handled it in-house and did a Halo 2, Halo 2 anniversary like we initially all expected, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation that 3 strikes were out. But I think too much was changing, too much was going on, and too many people were involved.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, class, let's make a poster. You need to have 5 things in it, but you have 20 people working on this project, and everybody has to participate. There's not enough room on a table to have 40 arms coloring on a poster board.
Right.
If that makes sense. But
no, I understand. I mean, it's a situation that people, we got to look into. We as the fans, we've lectured 343. They clearly have gotten the message 100 times over and they understand what they did. Bonnie Ross came out with a personal apology saying about the Master Chief Collection launch. What happened? We will never know.
I think
they
something out?
I don't. Okay.
Some people I think no.
Okay. Officially, and them saying, okay, so this is what's going on behind the development team. This is the exact bugs that sit there and crash the servers and everything like that. We'll never find that out. We just know that the game was broken. We were disappointed. And they somewhat fixed it to where we're able to play matches now. People are coming back. Are all the people that were looking forward to the game going to sit there and come back to it? No, they won't. Are some people going to sit there and come back to it? Yeah, because they like Halo 3 and 4 and everything else, and they want to play it on next-gen consoles. Absolutely. But I think their big thing that they're going to be doing and where everything's going to lie is going to be with Halo 5. If this flops or if this fails, the Halo series is done. It is. I'm sorry. It's done. You can't sit and mess things up that bad 3 times in a row.
Yeah. It's hard to say that they have 3 strikes and they're out, but that's honestly what it's come down to. I want to get to this other submission before we kind of start to slow down and wrap up. Spartan LZ writes in, 117 will never die. He will convert over the data from and be with Cortana just like in Tron. Then he will come back as a hybrid digital form and species in Halo 10. Long live the Master Chief. Hoorah! Meanwhile, in Halo 6, Sergeant Johnson will somehow be resurrected from Halo 3's BS death, and Sergeant Forge from Halo Wars will both get promotions to either Senior Chief or Master Sergeant, and kick Spartan Palmer and Spartan Locke's butt for betraying him. Halsey and the other Spartans violating military code of conduct during and after the Covenant War and demote them to Halo Assault and Strike games where they belong. What do you think of the Chief dying? Not just good or bad, ideas on how to do it well or not do it at all?
That's a really interesting question.
I don't think we will ever see the official goodbye Master Chief.
I think we will.
I disagree.
I think we will.
I feel that around, and like I said, people are going to sit there and slit my throat when I say this, but I feel that around Halo 7 or 8, Chief needs to get retired. I do, and I don't. I feel the only way that he needs to go is out with a bang. Him doing one last heroic thing that was going to sit there and put to rest everything that he's done before and make him retire that way. People are going to sit there and say, oh, well, he could retire as like a specialist officer, a general, different things like that. He can't. You just can't. You can't retire someone that's done so much in that particular way. People that have seen movies that was a main character for so long go out in a heroic way they did. They say that is the most satisfying thing that they could have done, which I completely agree. Him being alive means that he can come back in some way. That's how I feel.
I think Master Chief is like Batman.
Oh boy.
He never. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think.
I'm Batman.
Kind of like Chief. Just Pence. Pence just said it pretty well. We may see John go, but I think Master Chief will remain.
So I see it as the image of Master Chief, like all the propaganda stuff. We might see remain, but as far as Chief in the video games, I either see him as sacrificing himself for humanity on behalf of following this path that the librarian has meticulously laid out for him and humanity, or it's going to be something profound where it takes him out of duty, he has to retire in some way, and he disappears into the shadows, never to be heard from again.
I think in games aspects, we may get other Halos with other new heroes, but I think we will get like the lost chapters of Master Chief. I don't think they can officially. He's too iconic. He really is way too iconic.
Yeah, but you can't keep him around. Yeah, it's impossible to keep that going for that long.
Why?
You're milking it. You're milking something that's been around for so long, and it's like
He's been around for 15 years.
right.
He hasn't been around for 40. What, Mario's 30, 40?
Okay, that's completely different. Don't drag Mario
Oh,
into it.
Mario's starting to get lore.
Oh my! We're
He
sticking
is.
to
What?
Halo. We're sticking
Sonic
to
the
Halo.
Hedgehog.
Oh my
Or Sonic the
God.
Hedgehog.
Stop.
Samus. Okay,
Just
Samus.
stop.
Samus.
Oh,
How
I don't
old
know
is
what that
Samus?
I don't know what that is. That doesn't
Metroid.
even.
This bay right here.
I don't
How
really follow
old
Metroid.
is she?
I don't care. I'm talking about
That
Chief.
okay? That's a sci-fi epic. She's
Okay, that's a
gonna get
sci-fi.
old.
Oh
She's. They're still making her games.
Okay, we're talking about Halo, not Metroid.
I'm sorry.
We're not talking about Mario. We're not talking about Mario. We're talking
Master
about
Chief is
Master
not
Chief.
going anywhere.
Okay. Do you honestly think that they're going to be able to continue a story for another 15, 20 years with Chief? You can't.
No.
You cannot do that. There's no way. You're going to sit there and run out of too much story. Someone replacing him is impossible. Someone to sit there and take his spot, someone. Locke taking his spot? No.
Okay. Okay, Giles. What about Snake from Metal Gear?
That series is ending.
That guy's a dinosaur, but has been around a long time.
Right. We're not
way longer than Halo.
This is when I wish Brent was still on the show, because he would have some good stuff to say about it. And no, he really would. This would be right up Brent's lane if he was here.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's like you can't keep the same individual. Like any game, okay, you're gonna sit there and say Mario and all these different things. We don't have a story with Mario. We don't have Mario whooping the Didact's ass with a nuke and just completely obliterating everything. Like he's just sitting there bouncing around, eating mushrooms and destroying Bowser and saving the princess. Like Master Chief is out here sitting there doing all these different things, and wear and tear happens. Story nuts are going to sit there and the same thing. They read about the same thing. They watch the same thing over and over and over again. They get tired of it. People will get tired of seeing the Chief as the main idol on this. Are you? Not
People
necessarily.
are going to be pissed when Master Chief goes away.
And they'll get over it.
Honestly,
Really?
they'll get over it. They'll get over it.
Okay, when Halo Reach came out,
Mm-hmm.
what did people want? They wanted Master Chief in the game.
Okay, look at Buck. People love Buck as the main character.
Buck is not even on the level of Master Chief. Come on.
It doesn't matter. You can
How does that not matter? How does that not matter?
You can develop a story on Buck's level to sit there and act the same way as heroically as Chief's done. You can do it. It's not impossible.
Dude,
can't.
You just basically said the Green Arrow's on the level of Batman in popularity. Come on.
You bring up Batman too much. But
Batman is the man.
Anyway,
Well,
you have people. I'm making the comparison because when ODST was in there, people were connecting with Buck because A, he was a character they could get along with and they could understand, and B, he was a likable character. Was he
I'm not saying
iconic?
he wasn't
Not necessarily. I'm not saying that. I'm saying was he iconic? Not necessarily, but as a character, he could have a lot more development.
Okay,
People
if you guys
Chief
close your eyes and somebody says, first thing that pops in your head when you say Halo, what comes to your mind? Master Chief.
Of course it's going to be Chief.
So you're just going to write that off into the wind in 2 or 3 games and never look back? There's no way you can do that.
You can't keep that going either, though.
The way that the universe is growing, the way of how complex it's getting, you can't keep Chief up for that long. There's just so much that you have in the universe, and I can only assume that Master Chief's quest to fulfill the role of humanity coming back to the mantle is going to go on for so long. I feel that that's where where Chief is going. That's his search for the truth.
Okay. I want to say something. People are saying in the chat, Pens goes, people are connected with Rookie than Buck. You were playing as him. Buck was a silent character. He didn't say a word. He didn't say anything throughout that
Rookie?
entire ordeal.
The Rookie.
Rookie. I'm sorry. I completely got that backwards.
What game were you playing?
Shut up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can get Buck to shut up.
Anyway, he was... That's what I'm saying. If people are relating to other characters and they like it, you can bring in that particular character and build a story off it, and they could still like it.
That's not necessarily they're not going to like it, but it's not the same connection.
Right, but you could take a story and develop it and not have that particular character that everybody knows and loves because he died. You can develop a new story that everybody will know and love. A new icon can develop out of anything. You can't just keep on. I'm not
saying there's not going to be games that you're not Master Chief. I think we all recognize that is coming. But Master Chief, the icon himself, will be here till the end. In some way, shape, or form, he will be a solid piece of this franchise moving forward, not just solid ground.
He might be in the games, but you're not going to be playing as him as the main character.
I disagree.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, dude.
Fair enough.
I know. I can't see them successfully doing it.
Haas, I'd agree with you.
You can successfully do it.
This was just a video game series. And let me finish. And it didn't have such of an expanded universe. I don't want to see Master Chief leave the series because I enjoy the character. Is his role in the series going to change? Definitely. Will we play as the Master Chief in future games? That is it's totally up in the air. I would hope that he would be a playable character through the entire life of the series, but there are hints that the series is going to go in a different direction. Now, they may do something similar to the Dread, like the Dread Pirate Roberts, where, everybody, multiple people have assumed the name, but they're different people.
I don't think Halo would go that route particularly, but I kind of going along that same thought, I would see roles shift in the Halo universe to where it is something along those lines where it's like you take on the different responsibilities and different roles to keep the storyline going, but do it in a way. They could
slow the storyline down.
You don't want to slow it down too much.
Luster.
Yeah, it's going to lose its
slow it down.
Okay, they're jumping years here.
This is the first time they've done it. This is the first time they've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 3 to 4 was a couple years.
It was 4.
Halo 3 to 4 was 4 years, but
Halo 2 to 3 was instant. 1 and 2 was 6 months?
Yeah, something like that. It was a short period of time.
3 months?
From Halo 1 to Halo 3 was 2 months. Or it was really short. It was within a year.
Yeah, I was going to say Halo 1 and Halo 2 was the widest gap of the first 3 games. Because, Halo 2 and Halo 3 they were consecutive. They were within a week of each other. From beginning to end was, a week or two. I don't really remember how long the campaign on Earth actually went. But, the Halo 2 and 3, they were consecutive. They were one right after the other.
Yeah.
Halo 4, at the end of Halo 3, he goes into stasis. 4.5 years later, they wake him up in Halo 4. Halo Reach takes place...
Leading right into CE.
And actually probably overlapping...
But that wasn't a Master Chief core title.
Right.
As well. I mean, he's
but the game was released on the same level as a regular Halo game. It was still marketed as a $60 game. So there's a lot of ways they can do this. And, maybe Master Chief's not in every game, but I see his role in the series diminishing over time. And, he may go out in a big blaze of glory, or he may just fade away in the background. He may be there forever. Who know? We'll find out sometime in the next 10 years.
Well, I mean, it's like this though. It's like I just don't see Chief staying around in every single Halo game. I just don't.
I'm not saying every single game.
Okay, well, you're saying that you don't want to see him go. You think of Halo, you see Master Chief, which indicates
Yeah.
that you don't want to see him go. They're going to have to do that at some point. They're going to have to.
I think we have to also acknowledge this franchise is probably going to get rebooted someday.
It's possible. Anything's possible, dude. I mean, it's like okay. There's an example. If it gets rebooted and Chief is not the main character, would you play it?
Play it. I probably wouldn't love it. I played Reach. I Reach is my least favorite Halo game.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Actually,
Reach.
Second least favorite Halo game.
I mean, people have iconic things in every game. If one of them dies or whatever, people freak out. You see it in bands, you see it in movies, you see it everywhere. Are people going to hate it? They're going to hate the fact that their main guy that they know and love is gone. Yeah, sure. But are they going to sit there and play the game to find out more story? Absolutely.
The only way I can see people connecting with their character is if they do it in a Halo Reach way where it is your character that you create that is in the game, in the campaign, that you can kind of maybe in like a Mass Effect way. So you can have the boy, girl, whatever. I mean, I'm not super deep into Mass Effect, but
I can tell
I think
exactly
making a personalization of your character, that's the only way that I see a chance of them being able to completely write Chief off into the wind.
Okay, I'm going to say something to you right now. They've done that. Mass Effect's done that. Spoiler alert to who hasn't played Mass Effect or anything like that and has seen the ending. Shepard goes out. He's done. That trilogy is done. They're making a new game. Millions upon millions upon millions of fans. They're aggravated because all their favorite characters, including me, are gone. Am I not liking the fact that Shepard's gone? No. All my favorite characters that I've connected to what doing all 3 games are gone? Yeah, no, that sucks. But I want to see what they have next. Is what I'm saying. They're going to sit. People are wanting more, and they're not going to necessarily want the change, but that change is going to stir things up with a new story that isn't necessarily going to be better, but a completely different and more gripping story than it was before.
I mean, I'm attached to a lot of characters in the Halo universe, and a lot of those characters have been killed off. Johnson's one of them. I was just as attached to Johnson as I am to Master Chief. And when they killed him off in Halo 3, that pissed me off. I mean, I can see why they did it because it's dramatic and all this. But now that some time's passed, it still bugs me that they did it, but it's not like it was, the first time I played that level. So, if roles will change in the game, where Master Chief goes, I hope that he's part of the franchise, and I hope he's a playable character, at least in some of the games. But if they kill him off, as long as they don't do it in a lame way, I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
If they don't kill him off like they did Johnson, I'd be fine.
Yeah. Hence, go out with a bang.
So, just to comment on here, since this is what I've been doing for the last 5-10 minutes. Halo 1 ends in September 2552. Halo 3 begins in December, or around November, December of 2552.
You mean Halo 2?
3. The Battle of Installation 00, which is when we went to the Ark, was in December of 2552. So it is literally a span of 4 months for Halo 1 to Halo 3 to take place. And I'm also thinking now, since I have these, the definitive editions of these books, the first trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I got those too.
Does this play in with Hunt the Truth? Could it?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said that. Like, I don't understand.
I'd have to get a copy to find out.
It just.
How much did they change in those?
So the actual story, the actual book parts, they didn't. They added this adjunct piece at the end to all the books, and that's where they made a lot of the changes.
Huh. Okay.
You see.
At least
got
that's
my
what I
blood
think.
Boiling a little bit, man.
Haas is all red face.
Now, I haven't read any of the adjuncts in these yet.
Right.
Because personally, I don't like what they did with Reach. But
Yeah.
thinking about these now that I have them in front of me, this could play very well into the Hunt the Truth stuff.
It's possible. Definitely possible.
What we played in the games isn't what actually happened.
They're saying in the chat, they're saying things like removing mentions of how the chief first fought the elites at Reach, minor stuff in general. The books fixed canon and weapon details from PTB and Fuchs.
Fixed.
Adjusted, yeah, whatever. All right. What else you got for us, Dust?
That's all the submissions. That's the 2 that we have.
My knuckles are bloody now, so need a new topic.
I think me and Haas need to talk a little bit more, just that way. Oh man!
You'll have to record it so we can catch the highlights.
I thought that I saw another question up here.
Oh, Spartan Strike.
Yeah, that was it. What's going on with Spartan Strike? I have no freaking clue. I'm surprised it's not out by now with how good of the patch that we had for the last update, and there's still no word on when the update's coming for this month. But
do we really want it?
No.
I'd like to play it.
Yeah. Why die because it's not out? No.
The reason I like it is because it's Halo on the go for me. It's better than playing solitaire.
It's another Halo game, sure, that's cool, but the hype for it, I think the interest that it used to have is just not there anymore because of all the issues with the Master Chief Collection.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'll play it. I still want to get 100% achievements, which we still need to do our Halo 3 run to get that achievement, and our laser runs, which is going to be a nightmare. Bio, you better be learning up on your speed running stuff, dude, because we're going to be relying on you, and I know a few tricks from watching Eli's streams on some Halo 2 stuff, but it's going to be a pain in the butt, especially Halo 2.
Well, the thing is with that, though, speed runs is solo, usually. You know what I mean? Well, that's for time, though.
It doesn't matter. Lazo's
I'm
going to
talking about
suck
Lazo.
no matter how you do it.
I'm not talking about speed runs. I'm talking about Lazo.
I gotcha. Yeah,
and Cardio Station is going to be the worst.
I got a couple.
So here's an interesting topic we could talk about. Who in the hell makes the hardest level of any video game the first level you play?
Bungie.
How in the world does that happen?
I don't know.
I mean, right? Am I right? This arguably
no.
The first level is the hardest level in Halo 2.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing that's funny, it's funny you say that because when you watch Nick Eli streams, he literally did last check. He restarted that mission about 40 or 50 times. Just didn't do it right, redid it. Redid it.
Well, that's for speedrun.
It's well, right. But the thing is, though, out of those 50 times, he died about 28. That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to get some achievements to where you can complete lasso or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be hard. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than evil. Depends.
Yeah, Carios. Yes, I do agree. It's bad enough on Legendary. I haven't even thought about attempting it on Lazo. On Lazo yet, and I'm really not wanting to find out.
Yeah. I don't know. I really hope they make a challenging campaign, though, for speedrunners in Halo 5. Halo 4 wasn't... I didn't find it. I like the tricks that you learned and that. In Halo 2, we got a lot of different, little tricks and stuff. You can do grenade bounces that will lead you up to different things. The elevator part where you literally drop down and shoot you straight up and you're invincible for the rest of the mission. I really wish they would include things like that. I mean... people would have to find them, but to keep the replayability for people wanting to play it for different things, I think it'd be interesting that they could do. I mean, it's not necessarily something that you have to find right away. People are going to.
I never want to do Lazo in my life. I have no desire.
I do.
Come on, we gotta get the achievements. Gotta get the achievements, man.
I really don't know if I'll ever do it. I have every Halo achievement on a Halo game that is not Spartan Assault or Halo Wars that there is. But I have no desire. Do I want the achievements? Yeah. Do I want to do them myself? Absolutely not. Playing the Halo 2 Legendary campaign with Duststorm that was probably the most aggravating campaign time of my life.
But it's so satisfying when you get it done.
My day one controller had to be replaced at the end of that.
Just because you have rage problems doesn't mean everybody...
I have never had to replace a controller due to rage. And that campaign on Legendary...
Did you not play Halo 2 back in the day?
I played it on Heroic, but man, like, as you guys know, multiplayer is my love. I beat the campaigns. I love the story. I like the fiction. But I was like, there's nothing for me to really want to beat this campaign on Legendary. I did it on Halo 1. I did it on Halo 3. But Halo 2, for some reason...
Halo 3, you actually got something out of it. You got armor.
When Halo 2 came out, maybe Godzilla's the only one in here, but when Halo 2 launched, that was the Xbox Live introduction to me. Like, I beat the campaign the first day, but after that, I wanted to experience Xbox Live. I wanted to play my friend across the street without having to haul my Xbox across the street to play there. I wanted, all these things we take for granted now. That's all I wanted to experience. I wanted to play with some guy in New York, and some of my best friends are from all over the world because of Xbox Live and Halo 2.
Yeah.
So I think it's a different era, we kind of just, it was a different time for me. Halo CE, it was really easy to want to beat the campaign because, there's only 2 of us. Okay, let's play the campaign. But Halo 4 is or Halo 2, you bring up your friends list or your clan and you got 102 or 99 people out of your 100 friends. You want to play with them. You're getting spammed invites. It's different. I think that's why I don't have the desire to experience it like that.
We'll make a man out of you.
Like the Mulan song.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought that's what you were referencing. I thought that was the whole point of you saying that.
No.
PTB
for me with Halo 2, the whole reason I went on live is so I could play with my friends that I played Halo CE with.
At LAN parties and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I miss is LAN parties. That is something that is a lost art.
And don't.
I do.
Don't get me wrong. Dude, I miss the getting together with all my friends, but I don't miss having to set up 25 TVs and Xboxes and then network them all together and try to make it work, And then, the morning, there's always the morning after.
There is no morning afterwards. It's stay up all night and that's it. And then you go home, pack up your stuff, and you're done. You're jacked up on Mountain Dew, Doritos, and pizza.
Yeah, as long as it's not your house.
Oh, we don't go in a house. We have a 100-foot room with LAN cables and everything. It's an old computer room. It's basically what it was.
I destroyed my mom's house. We have holes because I built my bedroom into the garage, so I have a hole going straight through the roof to what once was my sister's room, but then turned into my youngest brother's, and then I had a hole at the other end of the room that went to my next brother. And then I had a hole straight through. It went through tubing, like 1/4-inch tubing, through the guest bathroom into the rec room. And then we also had a hole that went up and then through the floorboards and into the main living room. My mom just finished re-drywalling everything because of how bad I destroyed that house. With tubing, and that house was the LAN house. Every day after school, that's what we did.
Yeah.
If I ever did that, my parents would string me up by my toes.
Luckily, I had a mom that didn't want to tell me no very often, but then when she learned how to tell me no, the worst.
The only thing that I've done that's done gamer rage, I've lost about 15 controllers, literally ripping them in half. That's about the extent of it. I've went through quite a few controllers. I went through.
But you're telling us you have rage issues.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went through a dresser. That make any sense? I punched the crap out of a dresser. Granted, it was one of those pressed wood dressers that were flimsy beyond crap, but yeah, no, I can definitely understand. But anything going through the roof or wall or anything like that, if that ever happened, oh god, I'd run out of the house and you wouldn't see me for a day or two.
Well, when Halo CE launched, I was in my own house. Well, at the time, apartment. So, knocking holes in walls was not a thing I wanted to do. So we would do it old school. We had, 100-foot Cat 5 cable that we'd roll up when we were done. We had, switches to link all the Xboxes together.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then, after everybody took their stuff home, of course, you're lugging the CRTs, not flat screens. So, with every person that leaves, there's 2 people walking out the door because you need 2 people to carry the TV. And, it's just like I said, don't get me wrong. I love LAN parties. They're a blast. Because, if you want to trash talk somebody, they're right there.
And then you start beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, if somebody pulls a cheap move on you, you can reach over and slap them in the chest,
Or throw the controller at them. Start swinging that wireless controller.
It was 3 cases of Mountain Dew, Tim's jalapeno chips, and then right afterwards we'd make a run to Taco Bell. And you didn't use the bathroom right for about a week. But it was so worth it. Like everybody knows that LAN parties, I think they're the unsung missing hero from Halo as a franchise.
If you could sit there and get that first experience with a LAN party, you'd be attached to any Halo game forever. Like, I think that is the ultimate way to experience Halo. And it's like, we still do it every 6 months. We take our 360s, we hook them all up, and we play the ever-living crap out of Halo. And it's like, I have no voice left when I'm done. Just screaming on top of your lungs. There's no one around you, so like no one could care less. The only time that thing has got a little bit crazy is when the Xbox caught on fire, but that was really bad.
Xbox caught on fire.
Yeah, it was one of those old white Xboxes that never been dusted, and it heated up, and the dust caught on fire that was in there, and that caught on fire. We were all outside cooling off because the room didn't have AC.
Gotta have deodorant.
I wonder why it caught on fire.
I wonder why the Xbox overheated.
Heaven forbid that you just leave an Xbox running in if you're outside to get cool because of how hot it is, how hot do you think the Xbox is getting? My gosh. Holy crap.
We all chipped in and bought him a new Xbox, so it didn't really matter. He got a new Xbox out of the deal, so.
Still, what the heck?
But a topic that I really want to talk to you guys about, because I seen it pop up today. And this is real quick. What if we can see some remakes made in Halo 5? Which ones would you want to see?
Say again?
Any remakes from any Halo games, from maps? Which one would you want to see back in Halo 5?
Oh, you mean like my forum post?
That's why I said we seen it earlier today.
Honestly, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great Halo maps out there, but I'm kind of getting tired of remakes.
Yeah, I can vouch for you on that.
Yeah, I honestly, in Halo 5, I want to see all new content.
Well, we already know that's not happening because Truth is coming.
Well, yes.
I'd call that a spiritual successor. I wouldn't call that a remake.
Okay, so that's another question I wanted to say because I knew we were going to get to that. If we do get remakes, would you consider that new content because they are spiritual successors? We're still going to get the same kind of layout and the same idea with things. Like, let's take, for instance, Guardian. We get the same kind of idea, we get the same layout and all the different things, but they expand it, they do different things to make it better. Not necessarily better, but just different, and to support like sprint and all the armor abilities and all that stuff. Would you consider that new content? It's not the exact same map, but it's not necessarily a remake.
Well, yeah, yes, Truth is, you could technically say is a remake of Midship, but honestly, when I was playing it, it didn't feel like Midship. I mean, granted, the
No,
callouts were the same,
It doesn't.
but it did not play the same as Midship did.
Spartan abilities, that's the biggest difference right there.
In that in that in that sense, that I would consider a new content.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see them limit how many re-envisionings they do. I mean, there's a lot of good maps out there, and some of them will probably make really good Halo 5 maps with minimal tweaking.
Mhm.
But like any of the maps that I can think of that would be a pretty straight move into Halo 5 are all the Halo 4 maps.
Yeah,
And I really don't want to see Haven again.
I do.
No, never again.
I do.
Don't get me wrong. In Halo 4, Haven's fun to play, but I've played that map so much, I don't want to play it in another game.
This is the reason why I say this. If they can take that map and redo whatever it is that they can do with it, I think it'd be interesting to see what they do with Halo 5. I really do. I think it'd be something different. Now, do I want to see any other Halo 4 map? No. I don't want to see any of those.
Come on, you want to drift.
Adrift was all right. I wouldn't necessarily it was the best map I've ever played, but I think it was a better map than a lot of the maps we got with Halo 4. Am I going to say it's up there with Midship and Pit and everything else? Hell no.
But yeah, I would really like them to show off, don't just take an existing map and tweak it to make it work with abilities. Show me what you can do. Design me a map that fits with the Spartan abilities that just blows my socks off. I really do want to see some new content out of them. If
I see Skyline, I'm going to freak. If I see a Skyline remake, I'm going to.
I want Terminal.
Yes,
Ooh.
Terminal would be nice.
I think Terminal would be one of those maps that could transition well. I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think
I'm tired of Blood Gulch. You've seen it too many times.
We need a canyon map, man. That's iconic in Halo, though.
You can only make that so many times, though.
But
that's a Halo staple at this point, though. If you think about it, it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need. It could be a new one. It doesn't need to be Valhalla or Blood Gulch, but there has to be that big team 8v8 canyon symmetrical map. I think a fun one, if they could do it right, would be Boarding Action.
Boarding Action. No, I agree with Haas on this. If they could remake that to where it works, that is a fun map.
Well, okay, if they can do that, but there's
a lot of work to do to make that work.
They could do it.
That map,
they could do it.
I agree with you, Bio. The map's a lot of fun, but it is a broken map.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another one.
I don't think that map is honestly worth redoing.
Battle Creek.
Nah.
Battle Creek would be an interesting one, but with the Spartan abilities and how small it is.
Well, they definitely have to make it bigger.
They would have to make it bigger.
I don't want to see Hang 'em High because I don't feel like Hang 'em High can ever be redone correctly.
I really wish Chill Out was in there. Chill Out was one of my favorite maps in Halo 1.
Containment would be a fun one.
Yeah, Containment was one I threw up there.
Burial Mounds.
Nah, I don't like Ghost Town.
What's everyone's hate on Ghost Town? I love that map.
No,
I actually like Ghost Town. Do I want to see it remade? Not necessarily.
Sorry, I'm going through my Halo map book here.
I can't think of the Halo 3 one I was gonna
Turf.
say. Turf was good.
It's already in Halo
Waterworks,
Online.
please give me Waterworks. It's really weird. I'm listing all these big team maps, but I'm an arena guy. Weird.
Yeah. What's wrong, Haas?
He's drunk.
Are you transitioning to the dark side?
No, I love big team battle. I just prefer 4v4 arena.
See, me and Haas are getting like different vibes now with the Master Chief Collection because now it's like I used to want to play big team all the time. Now I just want to play Team Slayer.
People quit.
It's the truth. And
Isolation would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Isolation.
That map,
Tyler-
that broke my heart when they pulled that out of MLG.
Tyler just said Epitaph.
Yes, I was just gonna say the same thing. Sidewinder's pretty cool.
I'm not a fan of Epitaph. I
really like it.
I cannot get into this Epitaph.
Isolation. Epitaph Oddball was the very first game of Halo 3 I've ever played. I think that's the reason why I stuck with it for a while, and I think it's really one of my favorites.
Epitaph, Oddball, and King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I don't like so much for
Colossus.
I like Colossus.
I really want to see them bring in new Team Slayer maps. I really do. Like,
yeah,
the Team Slayer maps that they had in Halo
really.
4. The other Halo 4 map that I did like was Paradis. A lot of people hated it, and everybody said it sucked. I actually really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. It was the nuclear meltdown facility.
Mm-hmm.
They came with the Mythic map pack.
The DLC?
Yeah.
Citadel.
Ew.
No. Citadel was okay in
Uplift.
Halo 3. It does not need to be remade.
Tyboy, no to Uplift. On every level, no.
Anyways, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us tonight. We've gone through a lot to talk about tonight, so
we went through a war. We
had our own war talking about stuff. Or an internal war. So next time, I think we're having Sims on next week, if I recall. He is the UK commentator that came over for the HCS Grand Finals, and he does a lot of the commentary for the games over in the UK for the big lands over there. So we'll get to have him on the show next week.
Nice.
I forget if I mentioned this at the beginning of the show or not, but the Sins of the Prophets folks had to cancel tonight, so we're going to try to reschedule them to come on another night to talk about the Sins of the Prophets mod for Sins of Anarchy. So we'll get to that at some other future date, but we're looking at doing, I think, how far are we close to getting New Blood done for everybody?
I'm done with it.
I don't have it yet. I got the first 24 pages done, and that's it. So I just got to get it.
You're the one that wanted to do a podcast on it. How do you not have it yet?
Because budget cuts, dude.
It's $3.
Yeah.
That's half of a meal, or 2 coffees.
So real quick,
Or gas.
October 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Will be a great day this year.
Yes,
That it
Because
will.
that is the date we get Halo 5.
That it is. So thank you for listening to our rambles for the evening. We will be back next week with more good Halo content. We'll see another episode of Hunt the Truth, so we'll be talking about that. Whatever other news is coming out, we'll be talking about it. We're moving a little more towards the community side of things, so we have quite a few ideas for communities to get on board with and talk to. So if you have a community you would like us to look into, they can drop it to us via Twitter, Facebook, or forums, whatever. We're trying to branch out and incorporate a lot of people. I want to get a 405th podcast going too, actually, at some point, just because of all the stuff that's been coming out from Emerald City Comic Con and what was that, PAX and all that stuff. Because there's some pretty impressive stuff going on with the
405th.
405th and the cosplay scene. Yeah, some huge stuff. And we're also working on a few other guests to get on the show as well, which we will reveal at appropriate times. And we'll have a few, maybe next week or the week after, we'll have some special announcements to make regarding Podtacular and some events that we're planning on throwing. So stay tuned for that. Just want to remind everybody that you can find us on podtacular.com, and while you're there, check out our forums. We have some stuff over there talking about all the newsy stuff that goes on. We have a decently sized thread talking about Hunt the Truth, and that's going to be, I think, the main talking thread for a while with all the ARG stuff going on. So make sure you pay attention to that. Check out our Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And if you guys have any other things you want us to talk about, tag it to us, send it to us. We would love to cover it, talk about it, And one such thing is our screenshots. We're doing a weekly screenshot thing for the community. So if you have a screenshot that you've taken, send it over our way, and we'll look at it to include it in our weekly screenshot collage, so to speak. And that'll be up on the homepage every week. I think since the last podcast, or did we cover this in the last podcast? I think we covered it in the last podcast, but there is a new episode of Achieving Halo Up, thanks to Godzilla Todd. So he's been doing a great job with that, and the third episode is up for your viewing pleasure along with the full run. So if you wanted to see how he actually got through the entire thing for getting the achievements, then you can do that. And of course, remember to check out the podcast network, which includes podcasts like Guardian Radio, Critscast, Work in Progress, How to Murder Time, and The Learning Cliff. All great podcasts for you to check out. That will be it for us tonight as we check out. We'll see you guys next week, and until then, keep on fragging the truth. That was apparently very cheesy, according to all the shaking heads that I'm getting right now.